Hi, I'm Kate, and you've stumbled across a video in my series I've dubbed The Accidental American. This series is my best to explain why I feel like a foreigner, what should be my home country. Because the thing is, I've been an American citizen since birth, but I've spent the first 35 years of my life in Germany. And this is my first experience living in the United States. I wanted to document that. My parents were stationed in Germany with the US Army, so I grew up in an American bubble designed by the US military. Because my parents couldn't decide on anything but divorce, I got two last names and the opportunity to move off base around the age of 6 or 7. So my mother raised my brother and I off base, but our lives were essentially on base. So I went to American schools, I had American friends, did a lot of activities on the military bases. I've always had one foot in American culture and one foot in German culture. My story is not unique, it is different. A lot of the Americans that I grew up with lived on base and their lives were on base, mainly on base. Me and many others had the freedom and awesome opportunity to experience German culture while still being in this safety bubble. That's a whole video in itself. I didn't fully integrate into either culture until my 20s, and then now in my 30s. I have been living in the United States for almost 6 years now, and this is my first experience outside of just visiting for a few weeks. Even though I grew up in Germany, there were constant reminders that I'm an American. While I couldn't put my finger on it at first, finding identity in these two worlds where I didn't fully belong in either one, I dubbed myself the American girl in a German world. That is a whole subject on its own. It's a weird paradox to live in. This series is meant to document my experience living in the United States for the first time, as well as unpacking my thoughts, feelings, questions, comments, concerns, reviews, and overall justification as to why I don't see myself living in the States long term. This is not something that has come about recently with everything that's going on, which I don't think I have to explain. I'm pretty sure that I didn't need to move to the United States to know that I didn't want to live in the United States. And this series is not to poo-poo all over America, nor is it to glorify Germany as the best place on earth. It has its own issues. But given the option of whether to live out my days in America or in Germany, them being my only, I would choose Germany. The reason behind that is the culture, the lifestyle, the overall quality of life that I experienced living in Germany, not just as a dependent in the military, but also as an immigrant, far exceeds my experience as a citizen in the United States. I would like to provide a different perspective to Americans who are very resistant to any constructive criticism. The reactions that you usually get with any kind of questioning or suggestions or simple stories of your own experiences to explain how something could be better or whatever, or just simply how it's done somewhere else, the immediate reaction is to ask you to leave. It's been a wild experience. I think as an immigrant in Germany, while there were some situations that were unpleasant, illegal, and just downright nasty, I feel even in Germany as an immigrant, I was treated better than I am as a citizen of this country. That's a little weird. That's a little strange. So we're working this out because I was raised to not believe in therapy, and also I'm a frugal bitch and I don't feel that I should have to pay somebody to talk shit out. So welcome to my unconventional therapy sessions. Jokes aside, and this series exists because there isn't just a simple answer of Germany is my home country because I was born and raised there. It's what I know, it's what I'm used to, and I just want to go back to my safe space. There could be a town, a city, an island that is absolutely ideal for moi, and I don't know about it. I am not fooled by the idea that Germany is the only place for me, because there are plenty of places in the EU that I would jump at the chance to have the opportunity to live there and soak up the culture. That is not a good argument or a good excuse as to why I feel that I'm an accidental American. It is deeper than that, and so this series will kind of go over those things. And some videos will just be for shits and giggles, such as this one really is. I'm feeling incredibly homesick, something that happens every other month. When I start getting homesick, I start comparing and contrasting. I start thinking about all the things that I miss. So this video is kind of not that serious kind of video, but to talk about all the things that I love and miss about Germany. I do the compare and contrast of why I like, life in Germany so much, and what America could do to like implement this, that, and the fourth, whatever. And I know that it will never happen. I've made a list of like the things that I miss. Maybe possibly you learn something new. Maybe you laugh at me. Maybe you laugh with me, whatever it be. I hope you enjoy it at the very least. And I guess I will get into the list because I have nothing else more to really say in this intro. And it's getting awkward now because I'm talking to a camera. One of the things that I miss the most about Germany is bakeries. The abundance of bakeries. Everywhere you go, I mean, a small town can have a few. And I've been to bakeries in the United States, and it's really centered around sweets most of the time. And you can find good bread in the United States. At least I can in New York, but it's expensive. I just am very confused as to why a good piece of quality bread made from natural ingredients, so few ingredients. Like, I don't understand what extra they're putting into artisan bread, as they call it in America, that would justify it costing the amount of someone's hourly wage. I don't think that I've ever seen a loaf of just simple fresh bread cost less than $20. That is a crime. It is daylight robbery, and it hurts my very soul. It's very hard to explain to someone how good German bread is when you've never had it and you've never even smelled it. I mean, the smell of a bakery in the morning is like, it's the little things in life. It is the sweetest way to start a day. It is beautiful. And to Americans, bread might seem really simple and plain. I think during COVID, people really maybe tasted fresh bread for the first time in their lives and realized how wonderful it is to have. This is just a daily, ordinary thing in German life. I cannot express to you how delicious German bread is. It can be eaten alone with a little bit of butter. It's that good. It is baked fresh every day, and it is so fresh that by the next day you have to wet it down and put it in the oven to like reinvigorate it. And by the third day, it's a touch and go situation that most likely you have to throw it away if you don't like soak it. The third day is like the end of its life. German bread is usually crispy on the outside and soft on the inside, and this is the most incredible combination in the world. I have cried in Lidl parking lots in Virginia because they didn't have the bakery section, and I was fiending for some German quality bread, fresh bread. And I miss waking up early on the weekends to get to the bakery and get fresh bread straight out the oven, take it home for breakfast. Pastries are amazing as well, and they're not as extremely sweet as American pastries are. And it's something that you can eat in the morning without feeling like you're gonna become diabetic. So I just miss German bread, and I hate that fresh bread, fresh, accessible, inexpensive bread is not available to everyone. And it breaks my heart, and I miss the smell. The next thing on my list, which I miss, and people might find weird, some people protest against, but I miss quiet hours. Now, I live in New York City, and you are hard pressed, my friend, to find a moment of silence, peace, quiet it's hard. It's hard out here. If you are able to achieve that, it is very likely that someone is holding you hostage in a soundproof basement. That doesn't sound like a good time. So not the kind of peace and quiet that I'm looking for. Quiet hours are usually a certain period of time in the morning and then in the evening to keep people in check, because it is not necessary to have constant noise pollution. I don't think that it is mentally healthy or physically. So it's definitely not emotionally. And I just miss waking up to silence. I miss the human decency that other people have, knowing that they are not the only person in the world, and that perhaps not everybody wants to hear Bon Jovi's greatest hits, or hear you beating your wife, or like our neighbors sound like you're bowling in the middle of the night. So it is just ability to have some peace and quiet in the morning and in the evening, and I miss it. And I know a lot of people don't appreciate it, but at times when I was growing up in Germany, especially as a young person who liked to blast their music, I didn't appreciate being told to quiet down. Now stepping away and not having it kind of available, this kind of peace and quiet and consideration became something that I've actually missed, especially recently. And then talking about quiet hours, you can't not talk about Sundays, where everything is shut down except like some services, essential workers, and a lot of people that work in hospitality don't necessarily get Sunday off. Sunday is where like shopping centers, grocery stores are all closed. Like most things are just shut down, and most things are running on like a holiday schedule. So like a streetcar, train, whatever, instead of coming every 15 minutes, will come like every 30 minutes. So the like restaurants are still open, gas stations, hospitals, of course, like things like that, emergency services. There are certain requirements and like loopholes for certain places to be open, like inside of a main station, train station, Hauptbahnhof. You can have like a grocery store, like a quick store. I've seen that before. I can't remember now what city. I think it was in Hamburg that I saw it, that like I was like, what is this? You can go grocery shopping on a Sunday? Like blew my lid, because like that's verboten on a Sunday. When I was young, I'm sure, there were days where I was like, this sucks, like you can't go out, you can't, like there's not any like shopping to be done or whatever. What I appreciate about Sundays, like everything being shut down, is it's like this not excuse, it's this permission to not be productive. Germany is a Christian nation. That is why Sundays are off. You would never know it because most Germans don't go to church on Sunday. Like I don't think I've ever had a friend or an acquaintance that was German that like went to church on Sundays. They go at Christmas or like Easter. They do have like there's certain days, events, like christenings and things. They do those kinds of things and they get married in the church. There's a tax that you pay to the churches, but you have the option to opt out of paying tax for the churches, which like for instance is like you can't get married in a church then since you're not paying the taxes, which is fine. And I guess it's like a side note is like while Germany's a Christian nation, like I've never had religion shoved down my throat in the way that I have like being in the United States. Like y'all take it to a new level, another level. Like my mom always called, because my mom was not a very religious woman. She was not of the faith. I grew up hearing my mom refer to a lot of Americans as Bible thumpers, and I'm sure that will offend a lot of people, but I have no like rebuke for that. Like I'm seeing it with my own eyes that like that expression fits pretty well. It's pretty accurate, especially about with everything that's going on right now. I'd say that that's pretty accurate. But anywho, I digress. Get back to Sundays off. It is just an absolute wonderful time. It is just a day where you take to be with family, with friends, or be a couch potato, whatever. The main reason is to like, for me, was always rest and relaxation and enjoying life to its fullest. Sundays are all about coffee and kuchen in the afternoon, cake and coffee. And this can be with family. Like you might go to your Oma's house, like your grandma's house, a grandparents' house, and have coffee and kuchen with them, or your parents, or family, friends. It's such a like lovely, relaxed, social day, if you will. If it's a beautiful day, people are going to take full advantage of it, and they're going to go out and they're going to hang out at cafes and they're going to do walks, and it's just a day that forces you to really appreciate and take for granted the little things in life. So, good company, good food, resetting, like not spending your money, like just being in nature, being in the moment, being in the present, or just having a day to just shut down, shut life out without the nagging feeling that you need to go grocery shopping, or get that cabinet fixed, so you like need to run to the hardware store, or you need to do this, that, and the other. It's impossible. So you're forced to just enjoy and take for granted all the little things, all those simple little things in life. And I miss it. I miss it a lot. I miss the quietness and the stillness almost of it. People call it eerie, because like you don't see a lot of cars. It depends on the weather. People are still out and about enjoying life. They're just not shopping is all. They're not out being productive. So I just really miss those kind of forced downtimes, because I always feel obligated to be productive. Especially in America. If I can't have my peace and my quiet, can I at least have darkness when I sleep or watch a movie? No, you cannot. Unless you want to get some hideous curtains, blackout curtains. And I can't stand curtains. It's the worst. I feel like it's an invention by man to keep us chained in the house, because you have to take them down, you have to wash them. It's like, no, I don't need this in my life. Anyway, rant over. I miss roulades, which are blinds that are built into the architecture inside. It's like inside in the wall, and then you use a little, if you living in an old apartment, or you're not living in a ritzy place, you have to use like a little pulley thing or whatever to pull them down, bring them up or whatever. Not only do they provide extreme pitch blackness, they also provide a sense of security. Because let me tell you of the many times that I tried to break into my own house, because the blinds were only like halfway down. I thought, I'll push it up, and then I can stick my hand in the tilted window, because Germans are all about their fresh air, which isn't a whole nother thing when it comes to America. And they get jammed. They are not meant to be forced up like that, and so they will jam. And whoever, may it even be the person who lives there, will not be able to get into the house or the apartment or whatever. It's very difficult to do that. I just miss being able to, especially in New York, we live right by the water. So these boats, and I think they do it on purpose. I think they get their jollies off on it. They beam these freaking lights, these searchlights made for the open waters or whatever, into our bedroom, into our apartment. And like we have the curtains, but if we want to have like fresh air, like in the night, the cool air, like the curtains kind of keep that from happening. So it seems so ridiculous, but you will not understand how this improves your quality of life. Being able to shut the light out and not know what time of day it is. You can sleep for like 10, 12 hours. It's the best thing ever. I miss it so much. You want to watch a movie and it's like bright, like today's a rainy day, but it's still bright, and I would like to watch a movie without the reflection beaming into my screen. You put the rouladen down, the blinds, and you're good to go. I don't want to have to go and buy all this extra stuff to do what the architect should have done in the first place, which is build some freaking blinds inside the walls. But don't even get me started on the poor quality of housing in America. Quiet hours wouldn't maybe be that necessary if the walls weren't made out of cardboard and toothpicks. I miss a cement wall like nobody's business. The next thing on my list of things that I miss very much from Germany, and it kind of is, I guess I could have covered it with the quiet hours, and I did with the human decency, but like I kind of miss like the decorum of Germans. Like they can be very conservative, they can be very stuffy, they're very formal people, but I do appreciate their consideration for others. Like on public transportation, it is only the scum of the earth that puts their dirty tennis shoes, their dirty feet, dirty shoes on a public seat. Like that's a no-no. It's disrespectful to the next person that's going to sit there. Like who knows what's been on your shoes? Somebody doesn't want to sit in it. And young punk kids will do it, and they're not thinking that deep about it, but they have to be taught that human decency, respect for the people around you is important. It's an important cultural thing. There is no qualms on the part of old people in Germany to let you know that you are behaving poorly, that whatever you're doing is not okay. They'll tell you to put your foot down and give you a dirty look. And so some Germans will mind their business, but when it comes to like young teenagers and kids and stuff, older people are very much direct, but Germans are anyway, in telling children and teenagers how to act. It's like they really believe in it takes a village to raise a child. That's the kind of culture I'd like to be around, is people being considerate of one another. And that falls into like another thing on my list is like the eco-friendliness of Germany. Like they really care about their impact individually and as a whole on the earth, like recycling, not littering, being considerate, and being not of just the human being, but of the earth and our impact on it as a whole. And I just appreciate that, and I miss that. It doesn't matter if you go to some small American town. I went to the Hamptons, I've lived in New York City, I've been to California, I've been to many places in the United States, and it doesn't matter where I go, it is never without litter. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's not enough receptacles. I don't know if it's carelessness. I don't know if it's overpopulation, poor sanitation procedures. Like, I don't understand why there is so much trash everywhere all the time. It doesn't make sense to me. It really chaps my cheeks watching people at stoplights, because I've seen this, maybe not so much here in New York, but definitely in North Carolina and in Virginia. People at stoplights dumping trash out of their car. And it's mostly fast food, I will say. And I don't understand this lack of respect for the earth and the lack of respect for your fellow citizen, and then the lack of respect for yourself, that you would want to live in such filth and disarray and whatever. And it's like, blows my mind, don't care for it. And I miss just the consideration that German culture has. They're doing their part, and I freaking love that. I freaking love that. Something that I miss a lot and didn't realize how like invigorating being surrounded by history was for me. Like, I grew up in a city, like hometown, my city got a castle on a hill, a super magical, and like it wasn't a big deal. Like, I didn't think twice about it. Growing up is just like, yeah, it's there, whatever. And as I got older, I realized like what an incredible thing that I had the experience to enjoy all these years. Like, I played in the ruins of the Heidelberg Castle. It's unmatched. It's unmatched. And the architecture and what I love about the old mixed with the new and the cohesion of it all. And if America has something historic, it turns it into some touristy, like gimmicky thing. It's so strange. Instead of it like being continuing to be a thread in the fabric of the whole thing, it becomes like this sideshow circus act type thing, and it's usually not, things aren't like built around it, or it's not like repurposed or whatever. It's used to like make money and off its existence. Like in Germany, the buildings have, may have once been like a factory or a girls' school or whatever, and it has historical significance. It's not gonna then just be like, okay, everybody back off of it, and now we're gonna use this to just like get a bunch of money. Like, it's reused, repurposed, maintained. In Staten Island, there's this New York farm colony that has an extensive history serving different purposes at different times. It's just abandoned. It's been abandoned since the 1970s. Part of its history since like before I think the 1800s. But instead of preserving it or repurposing it, I mean, it could have been used to do, it could have a bunch of little cafes and like or restaurants and like boutiques in it, and it could have or office space or whatever. It could be repurposed and reused, and instead of it's like this acres of land all gated up or whatever and just falling apart. People are breaking into there to see it. It's a hazard, and I just don't understand why we would want to preserve these kinds of historical pieces that America has, because I mean, it doesn't got a lot. It's still a really young nation, and so why you wouldn't want to preserve this history and like weave it in to the whole fabric of America. Let's not make, you know, apartments out of like plantations or anything. There are certain things that can be preserved as museums, as memorials, as a way to continue to teach history. Generations later can see that it actually existed. Germany keeps the concentration camps, not all of them, but a few have been preserved for people to see that this really happened, so that generations from now will know and understand their history. But beyond that, it's just pretty. It's pretty. They're pieces of art. And nowadays, especially in America, I don't know, a lot of places like remind me of like, I don't know, like communist Germany, or like, it's just like very gray, very boxy, very simple, not a lot of color. I don't know why you would want to live in a place that doesn't inspire you. Or Americans seem to be all about aesthetics, and I think I understand their obsession with it is because they live in such a drabby, like unesthetically pleasing place. It's just like there's no thought put into it whatsoever. And that brings me to one of the things, the next thing on my list is flowers. Like, I miss flowers. I never realized, I just thought it was a thing that everybody did. Germans are all about their flowers. They're everywhere. Not in just like public spaces, like by the local governments, like beautifying their towns and cities and such or whatever. It's like the people themselves, they hang flowers and plants from their windowsills. It's like a thing. It's just like everybody seems to do it. And flowers are available for like $2 or $3 a bundle. Like in here, what you would get for like $20, you can get for a couple of dollars in a German store. They're everywhere. They're like in every grocery store, and they're just inexpensive. And I used to buy them for my mom all the time and fill like the house with tulips or whatever seasonal flowers were cut at that time. You could buy a bundle and assemble a bouquet your own for like $20 instead of just getting a small bundle of flowers for $20. It's just crazy how the little things in life, the simple pleasures, the things that like are so natural and of this earth, are the most expensive things in the United States. It's mind-blowing. Bread, flowers. But if you want a cheeseburger, or you want, like some knickknack or whatever, like you can buy one, get one free. And it blows my mind. My next thing is, what I miss is quality. Americans have quantity. They have choice. They have lots of it. And it's a little overwhelming. I think one of my videos, I discussed my overwhelm arriving to Virginia and going to a Walmart to get food. And all I wanted was a box of crackers. And there was an entire aisle dedicated to just like crackers, like half an aisle dedicated to crackers. It was just a lot. It was overwhelming. All I wanted was a box of Triscuits. And I had no idea that Triscuits had gotten so diverse and that there's every flavor of under the sun that you can get. And I didn't know. Like, should I get the roasted tomato rosemary, the garlic, like onion? Like, it just was a lot. Or just, do I get the OG plain old Triscuit? It was a lot for me to handle. And and it's just, Americans have a lot of quantity, but the quality is diminished, I think, in that. Because like, I would never buy a house or furniture in the United States. Nothing seems to be built to last, and nothing is made of quality. And it is exhausting to me to constantly be at the grocery store, like looking to see if I'm going to be poisoned with chemicals. People might think that German government is overstepping, but the EU does it as well. It's like they ban harmful chemicals product because it's unnecessary. Like, we don't need fake food that is poisoning us when we have whole foods of this world. So it's just like the quality in the United States, what feels like anything. It just always seems to be less than. I miss healthy junk food options. A street food in Germany is a lot healthier than what's available in the United States. I mean, you're just surrounded by fast food in the United States. Just to get something quick and easy and healthy, like semi-healthy, that isn't going to like clog your arteries, give you diabetes, cause your children to have a third eye. A $17 salad at, what's it called? Sweet Green is not the kind of healthy street food that I'm talking about. The next thing on my list that I miss a lot is being able to travel by train. America is not completely void of trains, but I have looked up a trip from New York to DC and it's like $500. I don't understand. I think that it would be one of the dopest experiences to travel throughout the United States by train, or just being able to go like a couple states over by train. The scenery of it all, the accessibility of it all. If it was affordable, it would be wonderful. And I know what you're thinking. It's like, if we take a train somewhere, it'll take forever a night and a day. And I get it. And that brings me to my next thing of what I miss. The appreciation for work-life balance, the appreciation for enjoying your life before retirement, before, you're really physically unable to do so. The vacation situation in the United States is atrocious. It's atrocious. Okay, 15 days if you're lucky, paid if you're lucky, is a crime against humanity. It is a crime against people who work 8 hours a day. I miss understanding the practicality of it all, that people are prone to get sick, and that if you go to the doctor and you get a note, your work is obligated to understand you were sick, you couldn't come to work, you didn't come to work to make everybody sick and show how serious you are about business, because no, flu is gonna keep you down and you came here to infect everybody, and you just, you're all about the hustle, hustle, hustle and getting that bag. You couldn't let your body rest and recoup. In Germany, if you get a doctor's note, your work excuses you. Now, of course, we don't want to abuse these things, and there are some things that the German need to go and rearrange so that people stop abusing this kind of privilege. Why should we all suffer for a few bad eggs? When I worked as a hairdresser, which is probably the lowest on the totem pole with all of the rest of the hand workers in Germany, I got 28 days of vacation. That's vacation, separate from my sick days. So I was able to use those 28 days as I wished. As a hairstylist, it can get a little bit more complicated because you have clients, but one of the hairdressers that I worked with went on just took her whole month off to go and disappear. No one felt anything about it. It's a respect for your colleague that your colleague will have for you, that you have the right to go and enjoy your life and not be bothered. Beautiful respect for humans, that we are not machines, and that our sole purpose is not here to increase shareholder value. It is not here to just work away. Life is important, and it's important to live it. These 28 days being the minimum basically that you get. Had I had those days in my job, then I would have more opportunity to travel and see the United States. I think it would do the American people a wonderful justice to get out, touch grass, if they're brave enough, get a passport, and leave the country for a little while. But when you have 15 days and you're being underpaid, how do you expect to travel, to rest? How do you expect to recharge, recoup? I just miss balance of work life. The respect for the worker. Their jobs are not their entire world and personality, which brings me to my next thing on the list, and I think I may need to take 2 cups to calm down. Germans don't try to be badasses. There's not a lot of main character energy, and I think that comes with that common decency and having respect for their colleagues, and respect for their neighbors, and respect for themselves, and respect. RESPECT. It's a very mature society, political thought, and they have a strong sense of modern democracy. And I miss that kind of clear conscience that they have. It just, the politics don't get as messy. Something I really miss about Germany is the salon experience. They always wash your hair. And the fact that they even ask you is it shouldn't even be a question. It's part of the service. And that's all I have to say about that. Next thing on my list, I miss bike culture. I just miss being able to bike ride anywhere. And like New York is a place that like you can bike in the city at your own like risk or whatever. In Germany, there are bike paths made for you to be able to get from like one city to another. There are bike paths in Germany that have signage to lead you to other countries. I miss things being adapted to cyclists and pedestrians. In Virginia, there were sidewalks that just led to nowhere. Like you just be walking and then it would just be a main street and you just have to turn around. Like you didn't have another choice. I didn't realize how invigorating being able to bike to work or just go for a long bike ride without having it to become like an Olympic sport. Like when you see bike riders in America, like they got the whole outfits on and like it's a whole thing. It's like a separate culture from regular life. While as like cycling in like Germany and the Netherlands, it is fixture in the culture. It's a way of life for them as opposed to just a hobby or something, the way that Americans treat it a lot of the time. The last thing on my list is I just miss the like lifestyle, just appreciation for life in a way that like Americans are just moving too fast and there's like their priorities are not about taking in the moment, enjoying the little things, being more chill. And I think that goes along with like the main character energy and stuff. It's just like it always has to be loud and over the top and like look at me and like aren't I busy? There's something soothing, likable about a relaxed culture for hours to enjoy a meal like leisurely. That sit at a cafe for a couple of hours, sipping on a couple of coffees or some glasses of wine, whatever their poison is, whatever tickles their titties, sitting back, relaxing, good conversation with their company, or just enjoying the scene in front of them because visually it is aesthetically pleasing. You're not sitting outside of a cafe in a parking lot or on the side of a street. It's like this space has been made to be enjoyed. The space is made to be beautiful. Yeah, so I'm super homesick. Quality of life in Germany for me is unmatched, and I know that it's not as easy for everybody to pack up the things and go. And say this because I'm married to a German. My brother still lives in Germany. The option to return to Germany, not easy, but it's not out of the question. And so that is, I guess, why I can be bold enough to say that like I'm an accidental American and I feel out of place here and there's a lot of things that I dislike. And there are a lot of things about the United States that I do like, and one day I'll make that video. But for now, it's all about being an accidental American and kind of fleshing out what that means. That this series is really about the art of living. The art of living for me is living the best life you can, the best quality of life. For me, unfortunately, the United States is not the kind of quality of life that I feel is for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for listening to me ramble and get this off my chest so that I can move on with this beautiful rainy Sunday and do some reading. Hopefully these videos will get better. I will get better at talking to a camera. Please like, subscribe, comment if you'd like to continue to see this journey unfold, this rambling Germericon. Yeah, and so until next time, please leave any questions, comments, concerns that you have in the comment section, and I will take them as food for thought.